Well, a lot of the times, you know, there'd be trees fall in and make a big snarl in the river. And not only would they block the river up, but they'd more or less change the course of the river. There'd be so much come down that they'd change the river and it'd start cutting into the bank or so. And if you got in, took a parasol and clear up some of it, get the water running out in the centre where it used to run, then it'd clean a lot of it away itself. And you didn't want to take too much out because fish always like to have somewhere so they could hide, you know, some brush or some logs that they go under.
When you did all this work, did you run into many beaver dams?
Oh, at the last of it, there was quite a few beaver dams, yes. I used to, the last one in Fortune River, they had beavers pretty well took it over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I did get a permit from Fish and Wildlife to take a lot of the beaver out, and that really didn't help too much. You'd always have to leave a few, and it wouldn't be too long or too many years till there'd be just as many or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same.
Mm-hmm. What streams did you work on? You mentioned Fortune and...
North Lake was pretty much
Yes.
the streams that I worked on.
Mm-hmm. Who were some of the people that worked with you?
Well, Freddie Shivery worked with me, and I don't know, Freddie was pretty much the main one.
Mm-hmm. Did you have students with you?
Yes, I had students with me.
They did good work?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it used to be pretty rugged work. It would be in the hot days in the summer, you know, and you'd have a pair of waders on, so you couldn't expect to go too fast with them waders in hot weather.
Yeah.
But we did it,
Yeah.
and we used to either go late in the evening or early in the morning and do most of our work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were there issues with garbage then? Find much stuff?
Not too much. Well, you'd find quite a bit of stuff, you know, somebody would throw in the river, and it'd either be gone through the river, or you'd get a hold of it and throw it out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that was one of the beauties of North Lake. See, there wasn't too many farms, say from the Baltic to the harbour, that you could go right down to the lake.
Mm-hmm.
So that kept it kind of clean.
Yeah.
Clear of the brush and stuff. That was the biggest thing with North Lake, was trees falling down, you know. And
Like alders and...
no, not all.
Brush.
Old rambucks. They'd die, you know. And,
Yeah.
oh, after a big windstorm, you'd get some live trees, and they wouldn't be in there too long, you know. They'd gather up a lot of stuff, you know, and back the water up. And, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then I used to fish a lot then, and if there was snarls got on the river the next day you were going, you took a parasol with you or something, and you cleaned it up a bit, that spot. And the river pretty well took care of itself, you know, as long as it's steep to keep the stuff from blocking it.
You're just giving it a little helping hand. Yeah.
Yeah. And Morris Brown.
Yes. There other fishermen you can remember?
Yeah, and Bill Partridge and Cyril Campbell used to come from town, and they spent a lot of time on Fortune River and Big Pond, different places.
Yes.
They pretty well know where the trout were.
Mm-hmm.
But
Do you remember any of the fisheries officers, any of the wildlife
Well, Buddy McIntyre was pretty much the officer when I was fishing.
Mm-hmm. What was Buddy like?
Oh, Buddy was a good fella,
Mm-hmm.
as long as he didn't break the law.
Yeah.
And I think he'd charge his mother if she broke the law.
What about women fishing?
No, there wasn't too many women fish.
Mm-hmm.
The later years, there was a lady from the States came down and she had a little tent down at Pre-Spawn. She was a professional fly fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
Lois Franklin was her name.
Mm-hmm.
But Lois never kept any trout. She fished barrelless hooks, and anything she caught she released and let go.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't get a great lot, many more fish than we did. I remember going to East Lake one Saturday morning, about 10 o'clock in the morning. It was raining a little bit, and Wayne came with me, my young fella. And there was a boat up there, it belonged to Bill Partridge from Charlottetown. And he left it there, and I had the privilege of using it any time I wanted to when he wasn't there. So wasn't anybody getting any trout at East Lake for quite a spell. And we went out on that day, and I had a can of worms, and there was lots of gudgeons down around the bridge, and I caught a few gudgeons. I had a little net, took a little can of gudgeons with me. There's some springs up in the lake, you know, in the middle of the lake. I know where them springs were. And one of them springs, we went up to it, and gosh, they started to bite. And as fast as we could get the bait out to them and get them ashore and take them off the hook, we got our limit. I think the limit was 10 fish then.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got our 20 fish, and we came home, and I had a basket full of fish, and they were all, you know, nice trout. And then the word got around, you know, that I got them, and that was 10 o'clock in the morning, and about dinner time we were coming home, and there were some young fellas around the bridge, and they seen the trout I had in my basket. And then the next day on up, and the lake was full of fish, but none of them got any. But then you'd strike them then the odd day after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about the way it went with me.
Mm-hmm.